October
It's
the
working.
30th, 1991, and Woodrow is about to tell us a few things regarding Granddaddy and Grandmother. And Woodrow, how old are you now?
I'm 74, be 75 on 22nd of November.
Be 75. Okay,
Yeah.
you're 10 years older than I am. I knew
Yeah.
that was about.
5 years, right.
Okay, can you tell us when about Granny's granddaddy, or Granny's daddy? Start with when Granddaddy leaving, coming to Alabama, where he left the kids and all that.
Oh, they left them over in Georgia with Uncle Mac, R.
And Granddaddy's name, what was her daddy's name?
You're talking about Mama?
Yeah.
Her daddy was Webb R.
And he came on to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And
He got a job as a carpenter.
who? Now we're talking about Webb.
That's right.
Okay.
Webb R.
And he married when he came.
Yeah, well, yeah, at a certain time.
And then he, grandmother and Granddaddy married grandmother. Met her there at when she was with Uncle Mac, right?
Right.
And then they came to Birmingham.
Not right then, no.
No,
Because Boyd, you know, was born there in Buford.
And probably
Everett.
Uncle Everett.
See, he was working just here at the factory. Anyhow, he had a job. He liked the job he had, and then Grandpa let him know that there was a lot of carpenter work building houses over here, and so he wanted Papa and Mama over here with him.
How many children did sisters and brothers did grandmother have?
She had 3 sisters and 1 brother. And,
I think this thing's still on.
wait a minute, it is now. You're mashing something. Well, it wasn't on just a minute ago. It's a blinking. Harrison R., Leela R., Daisy May R., Emma R., and Ellie R. That's all of them.
Where did they come when they come to Birmingham? Do you know what the name of the little town was in Birmingham?
Papa and Mama?
Yeah.
Stanford Stingy Heights.
Which is really,
It's above Rutledge Springs over yonder.
but they call it Wilkes, right?
Well, they do now. It's
Okay.
all Wilkes now.
And do you think Mother and maybe Aunt Audrey was born there?
I know Audrey was. And I
So
didn't
Mother.
ever hear her say who else was.
Okay. Why did they moved to Parkwood, I understand, when Uncle Boyd was 12.
Well, I didn't know.
And but why did they move to Parkwood? Do you have any
They
idea?
bought that place out there.
And it was
A 2-story house, you know.
yeah, okay.
They bought it from these people.
Well, who was born in Parkwood?
Well, I know Ben Gladstone was. I don't know who else. Well, we actually lived right there in that old 2-story house, and we farmed from there down in the bottomlands. And me and Gladstone done a lot of the plowing. Of course, he had it. Everybody else done something, Boyd and Everett and them, and all of us farmed some, yeah. And they made whiskey. That went along with it too. It didn't matter. And let's
Grandpa
see.
Orphan.
Yeah. Grandpa, he'd come down and he had him a little patch or a place down in the bottomlands where we was at, and he'd plow that. Yeah. And he stayed with us sometime 2 or 3 months.
And just leave his family in.
Oh, shoot, he said he'd rather stay down there. That's right.
And his family, where did his family live?
Powderly.
And which was, he had 5 children by this next, his second wife, didn't he?
Yeah.
Can you remember their names? Who were they?
Lois and Eben, Willie, Mitty, and what was that other boy? Alfred. Yeah.
Okay.
So I reckon I don't know if there's anything else.
Can you tell us now? When did you, after you left the quit farming, what did you start doing?
Oh, after I didn't farm that next time, I went to the mines and I got a job, but I couldn't verify it to my papa had to go up there and sign for me to go to work. I was 20 years old. Now you could go up there and go to work at 20, but then you couldn't. You had to be signed where you could draw a check. So that's how I went to work up there. And I worked at Winona, number 10. The last I worked was number 8. And now it ain't even running. So all I know about what everybody done around there much, Everett finally went to Red Oak, one that Woodard, and worked a while. And then he come over to Muscoda and worked a while, and that's where Boyd worked a while. Well, all of them did. And then Boyd, he went over to the plant and went to work, you remember? And that's how everybody was working. But that was after Boyd got into church. See?
He quit making whiskey then.
Oh yeah, they all quit making whiskey. There wasn't no such thing as having no whiskey around. None of them.
You know, I vaguely remember you would always, you bought you a car probably the first thing.
Oh yeah, I bought a car.
And you drove real fast.
Oh yeah, I did.
You
wide
were
open.
wide open.
Wide open. I'd come through Lace Job blowing the horn and you didn't see a soul. And I heard later on, way later on, that they made the kids get up on the beds. Scared to death. Oh, Woodrow's coming through, we can have him arrested. They never did, nobody stop me.
Okay, when did you meet Claudine?
Oh, let's see. Claudine?
Where did you meet her?
Thomas Payton. I had me and Claudine to meet each other there in Bessemer. Yeah, that's where it was. She'd eat down at a boarding house every day at dinner. And she worked for a man Lewis there on the corner of First Avenue and I guess 19th Street. And I met her and got going with her. And of course, me and Mr. Dowd both would always be over there at the same time. And if she's getting off, and it'd make him mad because Claudine would go with me. So that's how we got together.
And this is Claudine. And I can remember when Woodrow married Claudine, she had more pretty clothes, and I especially remember her shoes. We had an arch between the living room and a bedroom. I think it was supposedly, should have been a dining room. And I would, after she'd go to work, I'd get in there and put her shoes, and they went all the way across that arch. And that's what I remember most about when Woodrow and Claudine got married, because they did come out there and live a while. I don't know how long. Claudine, what can you tell us about something funny about the marriage and how many children and when you came to Hueytown?
Excuse me. I can remember that I had a complex that I wouldn't dare wear my earrings around Granny and Annie Mae because I felt like they disapproved of them, you know. So it was several years before I was comfortable just in putting them on and being myself. When we would go out there, after we moved away from out there, we'd go out there. On Sunday, that's the only place Woodrow knew to go, was out to Parkwood. And he'd park me there with them in the old house and take off to hire timber somewhere. Mainly that, what was it? Those folks that lived over on 150, further on over there. You know who. Anyway, they were friends, had been friends. Hollises.
Hollis.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was me on over.
One of the Hollises. They'd get together, and I wouldn't see Woodrow for a good while after that. So I was sitting there in that house with Granny and Annie Mae. And Annie Mae was like, "Mama, get the Bible out." So they began to try to reform me because Granny had, or one of them would restart reading that Bible. And it made me so uncomfortable. And every minute of it, I hated it.
Oh.
That is the truth. I realized much, much later that I had gained a little more insight into the family. They had accepted me more and more after that. I think that they realized that I wasn't a devil with horns or something. And I could tell the difference years later, how they felt toward me. One of the funniest things that I can remember was going to a church gathering down at the old Parkwood church. It was a spend the day of some kind. I don't remember if it was a memorial or homecoming or what kind of service it was. But everybody was excited and everybody was fixing covered dishes to take. So when we got everybody gathered up and about ready to eat, the preacher, I don't remember his name, I don't remember whether that was one of them at Boyd's funeral or not, but he said, "All right, we're ready to eat. Will the men gather on this side of the table and the women and children on this side of the table?" That, I'll never forget that, because it certainly wasn't women's lib during those days. Let me see.
How long did you and Woodrow live
In that,
and with us?
We didn't live out there. About a
not
month.
too long. We went on. We
Wasn't
went
long.
Where did you go from there?
to
On
that
Dartmouth Avenue.
apartment
past
on Dartmouth
Okay.
Avenue.
And then built down here.
down.
No,
Well,
we-
we didn't build.
There
was a house here, you remember?
then we moved out here to this little old house that Daddy rented to us.
Okay.
We
And
paid
then
rent
later, when he gave us a deed to the
on
property, then we had thoughts
tore it down.
of doing something with it. And we had that wall built around it. And then
That was first.
what inspired us really and got us going about building that house was we found a bargain dishwasher, a bargain in a Alabama Power paper. And he worked at he wasn't working at the power company. Anyway, it was such a bargain to pass up. We didn't have a place to put that dishwasher except put it on the front porch. But we had it. We bought that good bargain, that dishwasher. So that led to us getting enough nerve to tear down the old house and rebuild it. In fact, we're going to remodel the old house. But Mr. Hastings, the man who did it for us, talked us into tearing the whole thing down, because he would come over in the evening and bring his Bible and quote scripture. And he would, the part, I don't remember where, probably in the Old Testament, where if you repair something old with something new, then you still had something old, you know. So he would come over in the afternoons, and he did not want to tear down and remodel. He wanted to start from scratch. So we had 2 weeks to decide then what the house is going to look like and find a house plan. the
I remember getting that bulldozer.
the kids.
Yeah.
We had Gail in December in that old house, and we built the new house in 1948.
And then all the rest of them, Mike,
Yeah, we had Gail
and then Mike
and
and
Janice and Mike.
Mike.
And then in 48, we built the old house, and built the new house out of the old house, and Becky was born the next year
In the new house.
in the new house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And now you have, how many grandchildren do you have?
11
11
grandchildren.
grandchildren.
To say that I'm very proud of all those grandchildren. At this point, they're all turning out real well. We have a newspaper editor. He works at Florence in the Times Daily, I believe is the name of the paper. He's assistant regional editor there. Penny has graduated, has an RN from Baylor University School of Nursing, and is working at Heartland Hospital in Dallas. Pam works for a bank, but I don't remember the name of the bank. And they send her around in different parts of the country as an advisor or bank starter or whatever. Dee spent 4 years in the Army and is now about to finish college using this bill, GI Bill stuff.
Okay.
One of them teaches school.
Dee and Penny
And Pam.
and Pam are
Janice.
Janice's children.
That's right.
Okay. Now Gail has
Three.
3.
Her oldest one,
Is Crit.
no, Carl.
Carl,
who's
who's the newspaper. Okay.
The second one is Lisa, and she's married to a Georgia boy. No, Virginia boy. Anyway, they.
All from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. Anyway, they're settled down here in Hueytown. And Chris is working at the grocery store and sacking various jobs, hoping to look into something.
He's always hunting jobs, though.
And Mike has 3, 1 grandchild and 1 on the way. And Joey, at this time, is engaged to a little girl from Pleasant Grove. Her name is, Patty. I can't remember Patty's last name. They're getting married next March. And Susan is still in junior high school. She's the brains. Can I put that in there? Can I put that?
Yes. And then
She's smart.
Oh yeah, Becky. Becky's the baby. And
Let him mention her.
she is an RN at Shelby Memorial Hospital right now. She has 2 little girls, and they are real outstanding in their music. Both of them are in the the Pelham High School band, plus other musical activities. And I remember when Gail, the first one, was brand new, and I didn't want anybody touching her because I thought I knew everything about raising my child. Granddaddy wanted to give her catnip tea, and I would not dare let him give her any catnip tea. There was a bed of it growing outside the house.
Right down there.
I know I was really tacky about that. When I'd take her in and lay her down somewhere, and if anybody picked her up, I didn't want her spoiled. And I was really tacky that way. And let's see.
Say it
The
fast.
other thought has just left my mind.
about being so close, and Granny would come down.
Oh, I thought I was learning to doing my thing, like keeping my house and taking care of my children, and
And you sold a lot.
yeah,
I
so
remember you
I made
sold.
everything they wore.
Oh, yeah.
But Granny would come in visiting unexpectedly. I never knew when she was coming. And she would proceed to tell me, quote from the Bible again, how to raise my children. So, about spare not the rod and spoil a child, something like that. She was always telling me that. And I would always have that chip on my shoulder. But as I grow, as I'm older now, and I'm in the same situation, same era, same stage, I can understand my children better, and I can be more broad-minded with them, and know that some things I might say, especially to my daughter-in-law, I have learned how to walk on tiptoe, and then at the same time I realized Granny was a saint. She really was. And her feelings were easily hurt. If she thought she had offended anybody, she would cry and cry. And though she certainly didn't ever intend to. Then when she would come in and grab the broom and start sweeping and dusting, she was really doing it in a sincere way to help.
Well, it needed it.
But I didn't look at it that way then. I looked at it as her being cleaning up my house for her baby boy or something like that. But I feel differently about it now.
Now what you want me to do?
What you tell about Granny cooking and all?
Oh, she's the best cook in the world. Ain't nobody beat her. She can make the best biscuits I've ever eaten in my life. Oh, Lord, she could burn that wood, buddy. Ooh, me and Glad had to saw down trees, split wood, keep it dry for. She could burn up, and she kept that stove hot, daylight till dark. And let me tell you, she could cook more stuff. And it was so good.
Had a water tank in it.
Bowl of oil, we had to fill that up every day. Yes, sir, that on the distant range. I remember when they bought that thing, I was about 2 years old. You think you can't remember when you was 2 years old? I did. And they cook on that stove. She could cook, boy, let me tell you. Nobody could beat her. And I mean, all kind of good stuff. I mean, every morning she had ham, eggs, oh, the biscuits, oh, they were so big around. And I'm telling you, there ain't nobody could beat her. There she is. And when we'd eat dinner at the house or breakfast, my mother never eat when we did. She seen that everybody else was fed first. She buttered our biscuits and everything. And she fixed everything for us. And we was all eating and gone, then she would eat by herself. That's right. That's exactly the way she done.
Tell about her hair.
Oh, she kept that hair. Her hair had to be exactly in the right spot that she was, see that it was. She wanted that hair fixed all the time. And she did. And I've got her hair right there. All right, Clover.
When I first saw Woodrow, I was working in Bessemer in a little furniture store. And a friend of mine, who was dating a friend of mine, told me about this good place to eat down on 2nd or 3rd Avenue.
4th Avenue.
4th Avenue. And this old lady who was also longtime friends was running a boarding house. And she served meals in the middle of the day to anybody who'd come in there to eat a good meal, and charged the very minimum price. I don't remember what it was. So I went down there with this friend to the boarding house to eat, to sample some of Miss Vines' good food, and Woodrow was down there with a friend. And that's where it all started. I can say that in this 52 years, that for my part, I've had a very rewarding life. I am blessed beyond what I know about a lot of other people. I started working when Becky was about 4 or 5 years old, and worked 25 years, and then retired. So all that working time was times where I learned a lot and had various good and bad experiences. And finally I retired, and I have enjoyed the retirement years. But we've had our hard times and good times since then with sickness, but we've been able to make trips. We've been to Europe and to Canada and
Germany.
a lot of places like that. So,
Woodrow, what do you like best around here? Is the river, you like the river better than
Oh
you?
yeah, I sure do love the river.
How do you like retirement?
I like it fine.
And you're feeling better today. You just got home from the hospital
Yeah.
yesterday, so
Been home.
you're feeling better today.
Oh yeah, a lot better. So, yeah, as far as the river's concerned, Marie, I like that river, and I like that place down there. I'd like to stay down there sometime, about a week. But we don't get to stay a whole lot. Claudine's got a lot of work to do in Hueytown, so we come back to Hueytown, but never can get back down there, seems like. But we enjoy it when we do.